Well, hello, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's noon. It is time for Hanging with the Hayters, and we thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Kay. I tell you, it's such a super day today. I mean, outside, even before we get started, it's super. But it's going to be super-der, Kay.
Even more super?
More superous. We're going to have a guest after this first segment here, and it's Dennis O'Connor. He is, I started to say, the well-known in the community, but like many people, I think he's well-recognized in the community. And that's one reason I wanted to have him on, Kay, is I know he's talented as all get out and all, but I have known him for a good while, but I don't know a great deal about him. So we're going to have him in segment 2 and 3, and we're going to find out a little bit about Dennis O'Connor.
That sounds just fine.
But right now, Kay, this week that has just passed, stuff going on. Is there anything going on? Do you know of anything, Kay, that we've been...
Well, I do.
Let's hear it.
We are finishing up our diet.
Oh, my word. Hallelujah. You know, I can hear them in Salt Lake City right now.
I know.
Hallelujah.
I know. So what we're transitioning into how to eat for the rest of our life.
Oh, my word. Yeah.
And not gain all that weight back. So I've been doing research online to kind of continue to stay a little low carb.
Yeah.
And so we did an experiment this morning.
It was unbelievable, Kay.
You want to tell people what I made for breakfast this morning?
Okay, I'm going to tell them.
Okay.
She made pumpkin pancakes, ladies and gentlemen. Pumpkin pancakes.
I did.
And what'd you use for flour? Because we can't have flour.
I used almond flour.
See, isn't that silly? Kay, one thing about almond flour, let me say this about that.
Yes.
I don't know if it's the same. It's very expensive. It's the bag was
I got a pound. It was about $10.
That is too expensive. But
only you had to use a half a cup.
That's true.
In this
and here's
recipe.
what gets me, Kay, is last night I watched this guy, and I cannot remember his name, but it's not Atkins, but he's kind of preaching like Atkins. Fat is not bad. You're talking about some fat is
like
bad.
Oil and
all.
And
he
fats.
said between, if he had toast and butter, he said he would be better off just eating the butter because it's the toast, the refined flour. And here's my point. How long will it take them to get enough money for a grant to find out if almond flour is good for us or not? And that's coming, Kay, because this guy poo-pooed
it can get very contradictory.
Everything about fat I know, and it's sugar that's the killer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
did he say anything about, like, saturated fats?
Oh, yeah. He said they're not as bad as you're thinking, but they're bad when you eat them with sugar.
With
yeah. In other words, like cake.
Yeah.
And it's made with saturated fat, corn oil, and corn oil. Cake corn is terrible, and I love corn.
Well,
what am I supposed to do?
Now they're making gasoline out of it, so I
that's
suppose
ridiculous,
okay.
Too. The amount of corn using. It takes more gasoline, I think, or more fuel to make gasoline out of corn than it does.
Now that we're off the diet, we can have some corn on the cob on occasion.
Another
and it's in season, and
Mormon snabber-snackle.
Matter of fact, we may go to the grocery store on the way home.
Yeah. Okay, one thing I have noticed, in fact, it was in today's Chronicle, and I know the listeners out there have seen it. They're making a big push now for blackberries because they had blackberry recipes there, and I guess it's blackberry.
It's Wednesday, the food section.
Wednesday, the food section in the Chronicle. I don't know what the Courier's got. Probably catfish, I'm guessing. Something big with catfish.
I like catfish.
I do, too. But, I was thinking we've got 3 berry plants at our house, Kay.
Yes, we do. And so far, I think we've got 3 berries because it's their first year.
I don't know what.
So,
but Kay,
they're
it's
teeny tiny.
Your brother Tracy in Pasadena. He had 1 berry plant, and it turned into like a billion. And I'm not exaggerating. Sometimes I exaggerate, but it's a billion. I'm exaggerating. It's a lot of berries. And in fact, Kay, let me call Tracy right now and see how his berries are going and what he did.
Okay, because last I saw, it had 1 bush with a jillion berries on it.
Oh, no kidding. So I'm going to go ahead. Dick, do you mind awfully? I know this goes against all principles in this world, but I'm going to try to talk to Tracy about his berries.
Okay, see how the crop is.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, also, Kay, we were looking at berries. I mean, not blackberries, but oysters. Oysters aren't doing well.
Well, talking about the news, they're talking about all the rain we've had has just about killed off the oysters for the second year in a row.
Yeah.
So expect to pay big bucks for oysters. We're kind of going to get them from other parts.
Yeah,
of
it's
the
all
world.
the flooding and all that's going on.
1 second,
Yeah.
I'm getting it.
Oh, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be Tracy in just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't be calling, but this is important. This is the Blackberry Report.
I hope this phone number's right.
Texas. If
Yeah.
not, it'll be the best.
And if not,
Okay. Let's see. All right. Anyway, Earth to Tracy. This is worth it, Kay. Don't think for a minute it's not.
this
Hello?
Tracy! Hello, Tracy! Tracy?
Yeah?
Are you just getting up? Tracy, it's Mark. I'm sorry. Before
I
any,
was putting in the fall garden.
before you say anything, really bad that we're going to have to bleep out, Tracy doesn't say stuff like that.
No,
I
he
mean,
doesn't.
No, he does
He
not.
probably-
You're on the air live, Tracy. I'm sorry, but see, yeah, we were.
It's radio day.
It's radio day, Tracy.
Hold on. To dream
No, Tracy,
impossible
quit it.
dreams.
Make him
Oh,
stop.
sorry.
Make him
That was
stop.
from the movie The Man of La Mancha. I think.
The Man of La
Or,
Mancha.
Yes.
might
Yeah.
have been the man from Uncle. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, I have
was one of
often thought about the Man of La Mancha. That's kind of a sad thing. I'm at that part in my life, Tracy, I know this means a lot to you, where, gosh, what's left? What can I do? Go fight windmills. Anyway, Tracy, here's the deal. Forget that. We've been talking about blackberries, Barry Ogletree, blackberries, and Kays and I are doing bad, and I
Yeah.
was bragging all over the place about your blackberries.
so how are your blackberries doing?
Yeah.
Is that some sort of euphemism or a question that I'm supposed to decode?
No, Tracy. It's
No, we're talking real blackberries?
Yeah, real-
Yeah.
Actually, the
had an
birds,
uncle that died of that.
The
but go ahead.
birds have enjoyed them all.
What?
Now, we picked them off for about a month, and then the birds just liked them a lot more than we did. So,
You're kidding.
yep.
Tracy, I mean, there was like a billion. How many did you pick?
I wanted you to have enough to share.
Yeah, Tracy.
Oh, well, I got 7.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you did.
No.
You did
No,
pick
I
enough.
actually had a lot more than that.
Okay.
I actually got about 7 quarts, so that's quite a lot
good.
of blackberries.
Okay,
So-
well, good. Well, I expect like a blackberry cobbler next time I come to your
And
house.
Tracy, what?
Oh, well, I think I froze some, so okay.
Well, I would hope so. Tracy,
I
now,
hope you can freeze them.
was that one bush you had? That's what I've been telling people. So, was it one bush that you grew all of that stuff from?
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
that was Brother Mike, my brother.
Yeah, in Austin.
Gave me a cutting off of their blackberry bush that's in Austin, Texas, and I think they got theirs from
From Uncle Joe.
From Uncle Joe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Commerce
And,
or
I
something
think
like
that's a Texas A&M grown produced
Yeah, it's a Texas A&M.
hybrid or something.
Yeah.
Well, how much did Mike charge you? That's what I'd like to know. Because
Yeah, that's all right. No.
Okay, Tracy,
He did
I
make me come dig it up and bring it, though. No, I'm kidding. He didn't.
So berry bushes will grow just about anywhere, I take it, because you've got
Yes,
gumbo
kind of a weed,
soil. We've got sandy soil.
they don't grow in our yard for whatever reason.
Well, y'all
Even
have
over
deer,
the dadgum septic
so-
tank.
Well, yeah, the deer are working on ours. So.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tracy, before we leave you, since I woke you up and all, I feel a little bad, but
Well,
your
I had a
band,
late rehearsal last night, so.
yeah, where is your band playing next, by the way?
What's the band what?
Your
playing
band
next?
playing, and what's the name of the band again, Tracy? It's got an acronym and all.
Devious Minds.
The letter
that's
DVS in
That's
MY.
the letters
in-
DVS is
We don't
in
care.
Victor.
Yeah.
Delta Victor Sierra.
Okay, where are you playing? Anytime soon, somewhere?
Yeah, actually playing Saturday 9 to 1 at a place I've never been to yet till Saturday called the Jailhouse Saloon. It's in Old
Dennis
Town
will know about
Spring.
that. Oh,
Oh, Old Town
Jailhouse.
Spring.
Dennis is giving it 2 thumbs up.
Oh,
Jail-
yeah, okay. I got the address. Hold on.
No.
It's right here
Okay.
somewhere.
Okay, Tracy.
Here it
You'll
is,
see what
310 Preston in Old Town Spring.
3010 what?
Preston.
Oh.
310.
Oh, 310
Preston.
in Preston.
Not
in
3010.
Spring.
310.
Okay, forget it. And by the way, he's a lead guitar. And Tracy, I don't have time to talk about this, but last night I listened to Brit Floyd, the Australian band that's doing, or they must be British because they're
Pink
Brit
Floyd. It was really good.
Oh, Tracy, they're great. And now Pink Floyd's my favorite band. At least.
Oh, yeah, that's what they've always been my favorite band. Where have you been?
We slept through the 80s and 90s.
Tracy, I did not.
Yeah, so a lot of people did that.
Yeah, I used to not appreciate, and I still don't for all practical purposes, guitar riffs when the guy goes on and on. But Pink Floyd, there's actually, it's less jazzy. It actually seems to have a tune.
David Gilmour is the best.
Yeah.
He is a melodic player. He's not fast. He's not fancy, but every note that he plays counts. He's like the B.B. King of rock music.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Tracy. Tracy,
no, it wasn't.
I'm sorry. Tracy, thanks so much, buddy. We appreciate it, and I'm so sorry about the blackberries because I intended to pick some. Do they come out again?
I'm sorry. You woke me up, actually.
Yeah, I know. Okay. All right. Okay, Tracy.
Well, have a great show. I guess
Okay, little brother. I'll
Get
call you later for a normal conversation.
Oh.
Yeah. Can we have one of those? I don't know.
Get out of here. Tracy, bye, kid.
See ya.
Thanks a bunch.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was just fascinating. Her brother, once again, funniest guy I've ever known, really makes me laugh better. Dennis
When we
O'Connor
first started dating, I thought you liked Tracy more than me.
It was really close. But we are going to take a break now at this juncture of the show. And when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, Dennis O'Connor, and we're going to find out so much it's scary. Back in a couple of minutes, hanging with the Hayters, Mark and Kay.
Lone Star Community Radio is FM. That's right. Set your radio dials and your button presets to Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1, coming in June of 2016. To celebrate this edition and the addition of video versions of our talk and music shows on YouTube, cable TV, and Our City TV, we are offering special sponsorships rates, which include free audio spots that are played throughout our broadcast. Interested? Check out our sponsor rates for shows just like the one you're listening to online at irlonestar.com/sponsor or call the station at 936-647-5747. Reaching the people of Montgomery County with Montgomery County's community radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are hanging with the Hayters, Mark and Kay, and right now I have got sitting right to my left, or seated right to my left, Dennis O'Connor.
Hello.
Gentleman I've known for, like I mentioned before, for a pretty good while, and I've got several questions I want to ask him, so we'll get to know more about him. But Dennis, first, let me ask you this.
Yes,
it's a
sir.
question that's been on my mind for a long time. About 2 years ago, we were at an event at the Owens Theater. And we were, it was a dress thing, and I spent $150 to rent a tuxedo that I really will never do again. And I looked up, and there's Dennis O'Connor, and he's wearing a Civil War uniform. And I said, what the Sam Hill, to myself and
it
to
was
Al.
A Northern.
Was it? I'm glad, because I couldn't tell.
You have to know the deep inside of that. Yeah, it was a Union. It was north as opposed to the south.
Well, what?
Not too many people got that kind of joke.
Well, I did. Where did you get it? And what was the story behind it? Or is there?
That was it. They invited me to come down and do the Montes. It'll be the first time I've ever been on stage at the Owen Theater because I'm a Crichton theater person. That's my home. So
literally, that's his home.
Oh, yeah. So when they invited me down there to do that, and I said, what the heck? Why not? And then I thought, now what am I going to look like? I never stop acting.
Really? And
so it was silly. I just,
Well, where'd you get it? I mean,
where'd I get it? Store? Oh, I know. I got it from some costume joint around here. I think on 2920. What is it? Mickey's.
I went.
What's the name of that place?
I don't know.
We go there a lot from the theater.
I went there once to rent a Frankenstein mask, and they didn't have one at the time.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I wanted to know that. Also, one thing.
Wow, that was in-depth
It was
questioning.
It was.
Wasn't it, Kay?
It was.
He's really...
Folks, it won't
He's
get
gone
any...
over and above.
I think he's wanting to go get a union, reenactment outfit.
That's true. That's where it was. By the way, one other thing a billion things I don't know, but I'm very curious about is I've never heard anything about your family life growing up or anything.
My family life growing up? Well,
how many brothers, sisters, whatever?
I was born in 1951,
Okay.
last half century, in Covington, Kentucky. And I had a couple brothers, and they're older than me. One's a dentist, which is all this is work back here, and I'm out. And
everybody should have a dentist in the family.
Oh man, and a proctologist. But go ahead.
But we're all past retirement age now, and all the family still lives up there in Kentucky. But I set out on the road many years ago.
And it is that
far away
part
from Kentucky
of you setting out on the road that I've heard about. I had trouble not believing. Yes, it is trouble believing some of it. Some of it I hope is not true, but that's neither here nor there. But I have some questions here for you, Dennis, that I do want to probe into the inner being of this.
Yeah, well, let's
gentleman
shortcut
here.
that last comment by telling you I have 25,000 miles on my thumb. 25,000 miles on my thumb.
From whence
then
to
you
where?
go one end to the other.
Oh, from one end to the other. Part of that was the Grateful Dead. Part of it is not that you would remember, but
part of it was Christian evangelistic work.
What was that about? I mean, I read
I knew
something
I'd get you
about
there.
the prison. At prison, Christian work, or did I make that up?
No. I was evangelized in the early 70s after being raised Catholic, but I was evangelized while doing time in Arizona for possession of pot, and so I was doing like a 6 months jail sentence and stuff, and we started going to this preacher who would come each Sunday, and what that meant for me was I got out of the cell.
Yeah.
And you get a jawbreaker.
Get out of here.
No, I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm telling you, not only get out of that cell that you've been sitting in 24/7, but you get to go out for an hour into some different cell, get a jawbreaker, and hear some old man blah, blah, blah about Jesus. Ugh.
But you...
it hit me.
Oh, I thought you actually...
Yeah, it hit me. I was reading the last book of C.S. Lewis's, and I'd already read it probably 3 times the entire.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. No.
Well, yeah, that's one of them. There's 7 books of Narnia. And I was reading the last one, The Last Battle, and this preacher was in there in the cell over there, jawbreaker we already had, talking about Apocalypse, the last book, Revelations, the last book. And I'm going, and it's just going click, click, back and forth to me thinking, I've been reading about Revelations when I'm reading C.S. Lewis.
That's right.
I did not know he was a Christian,
Yeah.
And when all that flashed back to me, it was just like the well springs broke open, and it was pretty amazing. Changed my life.
So did you start teaching in prison while you were there?
No, I didn't teach in prison while I was there. I had a Bible study group in a mental hospital. For a while,
I bet that
during that
well.
period of time.
Wow.
I
no
worked.
comments
I
on
worked in mental hospitals also. The same mental hospital, which I had to leave when I found out somebody was preaching you couldn't work and be Christian. You couldn't work. They went back and they just tore that scripture apart that talks about going out 2 by 2 and all that stuff. And so these guys said, you can't work. And these guys were traveling all around the country. And that's it. I mean, they had nothing. They owned nothing. They were in robes, and I'm meeting them in the snowbank up in Colorado and going, how are you people doing
Well,
this?
that would knock me out of Christianity, too, if I believe that. But, you probably covered a couple of things I was going to ask you right there. And if I did, just say nothing.
You can tell me to shut up anytime.
No,
Misdirect me. Kay, jump in there.
That would be rude.
Jump in there.
What,
No.
are there 2 things?
I love rude.
What 2 things do
Rude
you
I
wish?
relate to.
Okay, Dennis, quit.
Shut.
What 2 things do you wish people knew about you that they, a lot of them don't? Do you have any? Have you covered them? Was it the?
No. I think one of the things that I wish people knew about me was my belief system that believes that we've all been here before, that we're on a reincarnation cycle, so to speak, and that it's going to go on and on and on, and we've been here before, and all these people we know, our wives, our children, we've all had relationships with him before, and so that belief system that I have, that I'm here to learn, I've got work to do that I haven't done in probably a pretty many lives, because I don't think I'm that young, but so that one, and then second, that I believe that we are all here to fart around.
I see. Now that is deep. That is so. Along with that, expelling gas comment and all. That's why we're here. What if you were to walk out here right now, Dennis, and just keel over flat on your face, dead?
Yep.
Or you could land on your rear. I don't care, Dennis, but I do care that would happen to you.
Dead's dead.
If you had the last 30 seconds something going through your brain as to what was my purpose during this time I was here, what would you think about, do you think?
Well, I thought when I read the question it said, what's your porpoise? And I went through all these Free Willy movies, and I said, wait a minute. And I checked it out. I said, purpose. Life lessons to be learned this time around. That's my purpose. It's something that I believe in my level of belief system, that I discussed this with my spirit masters, and I discussed this with myself after the last time I died, and I'm just planning on coming back and trying to set some things together to learn what I need to learn to become more of a loving human being, and that's where I think we're headed.
Well, who were you the last time you died?
I don't know. I don't know.
So, having died a bunch, are you carrying any of it over, do you think?
You're carrying it over. Yeah. Because you screwed up. Think of the things you screwed up this time around. She comes next time.
Okay. But you can't remember. So.
There she goes. No, you can't remember, but it's part of you. You've given yourself enough clues in your parents that you pick when you come back, and your family that you pick when you come back, and the situation you pick, be it a very poor person, a very rich person. I think those are all choices we make prior to this. So there's not a lot of accident or somebody's out to get you going on. You're where you were supposed to be. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
You mentioned that you're living with a medium?
No,
seer?
I was.
Oh,
yes.
How'd that go?
How'd that go? That's a...
And
that's
if you
a
don't
funny
care to
sentence.
go,
I covered pretty much all of that on Cindy Cochran's show
cool.
the other day for an hour.
All right, let's don't touch it.
Blah blah blah, and yes, but she actually talked to dead people, and that's how I've got some of my belief systems came over from Christianity and the other religions into this more spiritual place, and that's all. The only thing I can call it is spiritual. I don't. It doesn't have a name, denomination.
Okay. Well, you mentioned you were teaching in a
mental hospital.
Yeah, I was giving a Bible study. I came in there and I said, let's, because I had worked there, and so I knew how little access those folks had to the Bible, to the Word of God, and just to get out of it's the old jawbreaker thing again. I traded the jawbreaker in. I learned from that old preacher that got me out of that cell. I got these people out of their cell, which is the other in a completely new place. Mm-hmm. I even took them into a Catholic mass one time. That was a trip. In a van running, because they're not Catholic from anything. But I'd go sit in a table and a Wednesday night. I can't remember what it was, but I talked them into it. I was always good at that, and so these people came out from the mental health side to the old people's side where there was a meeting room. And we'd all sit down, maybe 12, 13 of us, and the nurses would say goodbye, and I'd say goodbye, goodbye, and they'd leave, and I'd start pulling out packs of cigarettes, dropping them babies down. That was the jawbreaker at the mental health, and candy. And I mean, I had all kinds of candy. I just dumped candy and cigarettes on the table and say, let's have a Bible study.
I think I've seen the movie of that, Dennis. By the way, one thing we're getting ready not to see but to hear is we're going to take a break. We're going to find out a little bit about the traffic and the weather, which is just great now, and a couple of words from people that pay for things. This is Hanging with the Hayters, Mark and Kay, and we'll be back talking to Dennis O'Connor in about 2-3 minutes.
Lone Star Community Radio is on FM. That's right. Set your radio dials and your button presets to Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1 coming in June 2016. To celebrate this edition and the addition of video versions of our talk show and music shows on YouTube and cable TV, we are offering special sponsorship rates, which include free audio spots that are played throughout our broadcasts. Interested? Check out our sponsor rates for shows just like this one you're listening to right now online at irlonestar.com/sponsor. Or call the station at 936-647-5747. Reaching the people of Montgomery County with Montgomery County's community radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
And we're back with Hanging with the Hayters. Our special guest today is Dennis O'Connor, who's been telling us a little bit about his unusual life.
Yeah,
isn't it unusual? You know, one thing, and you may not know, but Dennis O'Connor is very talented in many areas. One is scene construction, stage design next door at the Crichton. And I saw one thing you did that was, it's kind of like seat of your pants. How do we do this? How do we make it rain or something and collect it and all? Let me ask you this, and that was for Singing in the Rain. Was that your toughest stage design problem? Or
Yeah, that was about it. There have been some overall things that are static sets, because it had to be a truck. That had to roll. Not only did it have to rain in a city street, it had to roll back and forth on the stage, to get it out of the way for the rest of the show. So that was that's way up there. This last one, the producers, when Manny wanted steps that light up, that was pretty difficult. That was pretty difficult. That was a different kind of difficult. One's plumbing, one's electric.
Yeah.
Was it in? I didn't see it.
I had a person sitting backstage with 12 light switches that controlled every single step, and through rehearsal, she learned where the steps were. So it looked like as they walked up and down them, or danced is what they were doing, dancing down them. They're light up, go out, wherever they step, and she has complete control over that.
Well,
and it was pretty neat.
I was wondering. Had I been in the audience, I'd say, I don't know how I did that one. But
and did you come up with the way to engineer that?
Yeah, I did. Thank God I had an electrician who does a lot of the sound work over there, and he's a licensed electrician, and I was getting really close to it, and I had all these set pieces, 243 wheels on all those rolling set pieces, and I was flooded. And so I'm just begging, praying.
Really? Boy, that's...
and all of a sudden this electrician came up and says, I can do all that for you. And I mean, the steps were just wired. Oh, it was massive. There were so many boxes and wires going every which way, because you had to take each one of those steps and put them on an individual switch.
Yeah.
You can't tie them together.
Yeah.
They can't tie them together
at all. Separate circuit.
They all have to be a separate circuit. So there was this giant snake of wires. And thank God I had an electrician to help me do that. I had the idea in my mind, but it was like, I'm never going to
Dennis, it's one of those things that people, unless they know you particularly, or unless they actually read the bulletin or the whatever the document pamphlet is going to go in,
they call it playbill.
Know that you did that. But one thing they do know is that you have acted, and that you're, there are several character actors in this country. I remember Wilford Brimley from Absence of Malice and Strother Martin in Anything.
Oh, my goodness.
He was awesome.
When they come on, it's just like, okay, something's going to happen here. Dennis, you were in...
What we got here is a failure.
Yeah, in something, and I cannot remember, it wasn't that long ago, but you had a very small part. You came in, and not only mine, but I think everyone's focus went over there in the corner by the side at Dennis O'Connor, waiting to see what this guy is going to do. You have that...
Was it Arsenic and Old Lace when I was playing
No.
that character, the Arsenic and Old Lace character? What's his name? Okay, Charlie. Johnny, that's very nice.
Oh, gosh, Peter Lorre sounds like.
Yeah, Peter Lorre. That was it. Yeah, he did Peter Lorre. He was the one that made the movie. And so I channeled that sucker because it couldn't be any more funny. But plus I look like Albert Einstein, with my beard and stuff. So I look different than he did.
When did you get started, might I ask?
53 years ago, I think. I sang in the summer opera with the Cincinnati Symphony in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the zoo. They had this gigantic opera arena in the midst of the zoo, and I was
Sounds
in the
cool.
Bishop's Choir in Kentucky, and our choir master happened to be a big hootie-too in the symphony, and who knew? He was just some guy that yelled at us. We didn't care. I was in seventh grade, 8th grade at a Catholic grade school, and this guy says, "Okay, we're gonna go on into the opera." We said, "We are." Yeah.
Wow.
Avec la nous arrive, nous voilà sonnet
Okay,
Now,
what was that
I can't
opera?
even remember. It was Carmen, and we were the street urchins, and I cannot remember the lines I did
That's something.
2 weeks
Yeah.
ago or the last play,
Wow.
but I remember that song.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
7th grade, and
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
did you develop after that a passion?
No,
or
yeah, well,
something?
I had a passion. I would dance to Ed Sullivan. My parents, for my 10th birthday, gave me a big surprise and gave me a thing to a dance studio.
Oh,
A dance
yeah.
studio,
Wow.
ballet and tap. I live in Kentucky, in the inner city.
Is that where the nose got crooked? I don't.
Cement, steel, and glass, and everybody's trying to be tougher than the other guy, and they give me tap and ballet, and I did it.
Any photos?
But as soon as
of
they
that?
said no, not there. None of that. No, I don't think so. There's a lot of old home movies that we have.
Yeah.
Because my dad had started taking 8mm home movies in 1935.
Wow.
Which is why
Yeah.
I
Goodness.
have a penchant for it myself, and so I have movies of everything that's ever happened. But
What did your dad do, might I ask?
he was a machinist at Pearl Harbor, repairing boats that came in after being blowed up and sending them back out into the Pacific Theater.
So was he at Pearl Harbor during the attack?
No, he was not there during the attack.
Okay,
He
they
signed
sent
it right
him.
after because he was too old. Really, they
Okay.
didn't want to. They didn't want to take him into service because he was just too old. My dad was old when he had me, and so was my mom. I was
He was a late
a
life
latter
baby.
day, a latter day baby, or whatever
Yeah,
you call him.
late
But
in
no
life.
mistake.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Dennis, looking at the background you mentioned, I mean, you've been in prison, and I'm assuming the drugs you moved from Mexico or got caught there, or what was that all about?
No, we had brought them up. We were always successful bringing them across the border.
Oh, okay.
We were pretty smart at it, and so we could bring them across the border. It's just that when we got back home with them,
Kentucky.
no, not Kentucky. We were going back to Arizona. At that point,
that's
I was
right,
living in
that's right.
Arizona. I was just jumping Mexico-Arizona border really quickly, and so we got back home. We're not shy about sharing. We were old hippies, we were of the old school, and we didn't, all we wanted to do is make enough money to smoke, and we're not into making a lot of money. We're not big drug dealers.
Well, the point.
But we did sell it to the wrong person.
Exactly. That is these stool pigeons. Anyway,
That's what he was.
you did that. I mean, you have a little, interest back then in acting at all. Was there any time when you said to yourself, I want to be this? This is what I'm. Your dad was a mechanic. I
I never wanted to be that.
And what was there anything that really?
Well, I wanted to
grabbed
be.
you?
I just wanted to be through high school. Towards the end of high school, I wanted to be a lawyer and or a poet.
Those are both good.
So I went into college doing that, and then I was accidentally cast in a play. I was up studying my poetry, and these guys came up. Somebody was using the theater. They needed to make an audition, and they walked into this lounge that I was sitting in. Some of these people I knew, and they said, "Here, come up. Do a reading. Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh."
Oh, my gosh.
Went right to the top.
I would think so.
And I never looked back.
Well,
no, it's been too crazy. It built up. It built up to being just it took up my whole life.
Wow.
And it'll do that.
And you were
acting theater will do that.
You had some. You were making a living off of it.
No, not acting. No. I was running a wholesale florist in. That I inherited in Kentucky when I was the first year of college, which is why I bankrupted and almost died of an ulcer that year at 19 because I was trying to run my dad's business when he died, and a wholesale florist.
Now that's a story in itself. Your dad getting out of mechanicking to a florist. That's
he was pretty talented, but anyway. But the ulcer had a good thing. I went down. I was like way low in the lottery. I was going to Vietnam. I was losing my college deferment because that's when they did away with college deferments, and then they started picking ping pong balls out of a thing.
I remember.
Yes, I remember.
And I remember listening to my very, very low number and going, I'm gone.
Oh, boy.
Oh, jeez.
Do you remember the number?
We're going to 60-something.
I was 335.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, Lord.
Dennis, we don't have a great deal of time, but I would like to ask you this one thing in passing, and I had asked you this ahead of time, or told you ahead of time I was going to ask you this. And it has to do with, it's something I do not have, and I'd like to know if you do, and it is a happy place. When the doctor, you're in pain or whatever, and the doctor says, hey, go to your happy place. I don't know where to go in my mind. Where do you send yourself?
I don't know. I studied, in my spiritual quest over the years, I've studied lots of religions, and so I dabbled in Zen Buddhism and stuff, and meditation. Mm-hmm. And guided meditations and stuff from a lot of different sources, be they American Indians in a sweat lodge, to all kinds of teachers. And anyway, I picked this one spot one day. There was this big old tree, and there's this green grass, and I sit down against the tree. And the green grass thing is near a road, not a very used road, which is in front of me. And then a large field in front of me still stretching out into the horizon. And then mountains in a variety of colors. They can be sometimes morning mountains. They can be sometimes evening mountains. And behind me there's this building, and I don't know what it is. It's the relics of a building. It's just like, when you see these monuments or places they've dug up, all you can see is the square foundation. Yeah. And that's all this thing is behind me, behind this giant tree. The tree is the thing. And I've had lots of really neat happenings on that, because that little path in front there brings... Jesus,
whatever comes.
Some wonderful people from my past, and people, that I go there, and it's just I don't do that a lot. But anyway, that's the answer to your question. That's my place.
Like that.
You got to build it.
I do. I know. I do. Right now, it's just with Kay over there. I always think of that. Where's Kay? I've got Dennis. Thank you so much for being so kind and honest with us and I'm assuming it's honest over the interview. And I don't care one way or the other. I trust this man, and I have a greater appreciation of you, Dennis, as a result of knowing these things about you. I see. Anyway, Dennis, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, we have now got to take another break here on Hanging with the Hayters. You got Kay and Mark and Dennis O'Connor. Again, you're the man. Appreciate it.
Great to have
Back
you
in
here.
a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
Mark and I appreciate you checking out our archives. Don't forget, we're live every Wednesday at noon on Lone Star Community Radio. If you have any questions, please contact us on our Facebook page, Hanging with the Hayters. And you're still hanging with the Hayters here on Wednesday.
I can't believe it. It was so great to have Dennis here.
Yeah. We want to thank Dennis O'Connor for coming in and letting us pick his brain a little bit. You know, the last segment is always Mark's joke and Mark's story.
Yeah, I've I don't know which is worse for some of you, but this time I think the worst will be the joke. This thing is doing bad things.
You're good.
I'll hold it here. Anyway, and here's the joke, and it's courtesy of my dear sister Jill, and she supplied this, and I'm sure it's not original with her, but it's this. Kay, why do seagulls fly over the sea?
I don't know.
That's a great answer, Kay. They fly over the sea because if they flew over the bay, they would be called bagels.
Bagels.
Bagels. Get it, Kay?
I got it.
That is nothing short of really...
she might have got that from one of her grandsons.
I think so. I don't know. I have no idea.
But actually, that's a cute joke.
Yeah, it's a pun type thing. Right now, though, we have not made mention of, even though I was hoping it'd be one of our themes before Father's Day. Father's Day is coming this Sunday, and it'll be great.
It is.
And there is a story about my dad. I shared one last week. I think I'll share one this week. I think I even mentioned it on the Mark and Cindy show a while back, and I have written an article or two about it because it's one of those things that really stuck in my brain over the years. Some things happen and you don't know why, but I'm going to share this with you. It would happen back when I was 10 years old, maybe 9. We're living on Camille Street in Pasadena, and I know that means a great deal to all of you. And it was Wednesday night, and folks, I don't know if you're aware, but the best TV in the history of mankind was on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights. And that was the time the Hayters also went to church. We went to church Sunday morning, Wednesday night, Sunday night. Mm-hmm. And once again, Satan made it to where best shows like Disney World, Best World, World of Disney was on Sunday nights. And I forget what we were watching, but it seems like it was... something, it wasn't Alice in Wonderland, but it was some show that everybody wanted to see.
Peter Pan,
on Wednesday
probably.
night. I bet it was Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were watching, and Dad didn't always go to church, and but a lot of times he did. But this night we were sitting in front of the TV. I was actually laying on the floor. That's where the kids usually sat and watch TV.
Yeah.
And Mom, I don't know how many times that woman said, "You people get dressed. You kids get dressed. We're going to church in, just 5 minutes or something." And yes, Mom. And we just stayed there. And I don't know how many times she said that. And finally, Dad walked in front of it, and we looked, and we're just shocked because Dad could scare the willies out of us sometimes. He was, I loved him dearly, bipolar, though. I don't know what would set him off. And he turned off the TV, and he said, "Y'all get in the car." And son of a gun, all you could see is elbows, knees, and earlobes running through the house. I was wearing shorts with no shirt, no shoes. So, man, I ran, jumped in my jeans, grabbed a shirt, shoes, socks, and all that, and ran out. And finally, we were all in the car.
Getting dressed in the car?
Yeah. Susan and Dennis and me and Jill were in the back seat. And it takes 20 minutes to get to church. And anyway, we're all getting dressed. I put on my shirt, and I put on my socks, and I put on my shoe, and then I couldn't find the other shoe. I looked everywhere, under the seat and all, and I said, "Dennis, where's my shoe? Susan, do you have my shoe?" No. We weren't saying anything. We were using a kid sign. And nothing. And what do you do? Dad is just mad as he can be because we wouldn't obey Mom. And now do I say, "Dad, can we go home and get my shoe?" No, we can't. So as a kid, what I did is I decided, maybe I'll die between here and there, and I won't even have to address it. So I waited until we got to church, and Mom said, "Everybody out!" So we're out, except for me. And finally, when everybody cleared the car, I eased out of the car and started walking. And Mom, she's so smart. She looks back and says, "Where's your shoe?" "Mom, I forgot it. Please don't tell Dad. I'll just walk in, and I'll play like, I hurt my foot or something." And she said, "Honey, come here." And talking to Dad. They never called each other Ferris or Elsie. And she said, "Your son forgot his shoe." And immediately I started crying. I thought death is around the corner. I was just weeping, and it was I couldn't catch my breath. And he said, "Get in the car." And then I knew it's over. And I think Dennis even cried because he knew his brother was getting ready to die. I get in the car, and it's with Dad, and I'm not saying anything. I cannot catch my breath. It's and crying, and he's driving, and all of a sudden he just stops, I guess, at the light, and he looks over there, and he says, "I can't believe you're that afraid of me." And it was, I want to say, "Dad, I don't know how you're going to react or something," but I didn't say anything. I just, really, okay, next comes the slapper. He didn't slap me, but you're going to beat the daylight out of me. Son of a gun, Kay. We went home, and we got out of the car, we sat down, and he said, "Look, we're going to watch Ozzie and Harriet." It was on. We'd already missed the other show, whatever it was. And we sat down. He said, "Hey, let's split a Pepsi Cola. What do you say?" We split a Pepsi Cola, and we're sitting there with my dad, and he's being
And
nice.
you're the only kid
I'm
there?
the only kid there.
That doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't. He's treating me really kind and all. And then he, said, "Well, I guess we better go get the rest of them." And dadgum, we went and picked up the family, and he stopped off at Dairy Queen and got us all those dipped cones. Kay, that was a moment in my life that I remember and will always remember. It was one of the times I actually got to know Dad, and I realized Dad was struggling with so much stress in his life and work and all, and he realized, my kids, what have I done?
Yeah.
I'd like to say from then on he was a changed man, but he wasn't. He had his problems, as many people do, with depression and other things. But I just love the man to death, and I hope you will take pause to, if your dad is passed, to think of him this Sunday and always, of course, and to please hug your dad for me if he's around now, and that would be so nice. Hug him for Mark and Kay. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You have been hanging with the Hayters. We love you for that, and Kay and I will hopefully see you next week. I'm hoping to have a couple of teachers here to tell us about the summer with teachers.
What do teachers do in the summer?
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, hang with the Hayters. www.lonestar.com. See you next week.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, Internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schisler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schisler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.